For tonight are three. Number one, how to identify a hate crime and a bias incident. You may see one taking place, but you may not know what are the qualities of a hate crime. So number one, how to identify one, how to understand what it is. Number two, learn how to intervene. Let's say, God forbid, you see a hate crime taking place. You're on the bus, and you see a Muslim sister, she's wearing hijab, and a person starts yelling at her, right? Yelling vulgarities at her. How do you intervene? What is the safest way to intervene in that circumstance, in that situation? How do you protect yourself? Number three, to know the 5 Ds. There are 5 Ds of intervention, and then inshallah I'm going to go through them. So what is a hate crime? A hate crime has 2 qualities. Number one is that there was an underlying crime. What is an underlying crime? Meaning a physical assault. Someone, assaults you physically. Verbal threat, yani if someone threatens you verbally, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to kill you, anything. Robbery, burglary, property damage, and graffiti. In other words, if someone, God forbid, sprays graffiti on the walls of a masjid, go back to your country, right? That counts as a hate crime even if there was no physical aggression. The second quality is that the perpetrator committed the hate crime because they were motivated by racial or religious bias. So while they're committing the crime, while they are assaulting you or harassing you, they express something that indicates a religious bias, right? Which personal identities are protected? By New York City law, the following 8 identities are protected. Your race and your color, your religion, your religious practice, your ancestry or your place of national origin, your gender, your sexual orientation, your gender identity, your disability, if you have a disability, or your age. Now what if there's no underlying crime? Let's say there is no physical attack. There's no property damage. There's no assault. What do you call that? That's not a hate crime. That is a bias incident, right? The reason why these two are different because legally these are 2 different categories, and the way to address them is different for either one. And again, graffiti counts as a hate crime. Even this is the one exception. So graffiti, on a masjid or anywhere that includes hate speech, even if there is no physical assault, counts as a hate crime. Okay, so everyone kind of has an idea now, right, of what the difference between a hate crime and a bias incident. So I'm going to go through some very quick examples, and I want you to tell me, you can raise your hand or you can just call it out, is this a hate crime or a bias incident? A passenger on the bus gets on the bus and he says, I hate Muslims, and the passenger threatens to beat up a Muslim couple on the bus. He sees a Muslim couple, he says, I hate Muslims, I'm going to beat you up. Is this hate crime or bias incident? What do you think? Hate crime, why? He said, I hate Muslims, right? But in addition, he made a threat, right? I'm going to beat you up. This is a threat, this counts as a hate crime because there's a threat of violence. Good. A group of teenagers, example 2, a group of teenagers in school call their classmate a terrorist. Hate crime, bias incident. Anyone else? Bias incident. Why? It's a discriminatory statement, but there's no threat. There's no physical assault, there's no threat, so that's a bias incident. Good. Okay. An entertainment center, you can say, an entertainment center, a concert hall, tells a customer in hijab, Muslims are not welcome here. So, sister in hijab, she goes to an entertainment center, maybe a movie, right, TV show, and they tell her, Muslims are not welcome here. It's hate crime or bias incident? Bias incident, right? Again, there's no threat. There's no threat, there's no assault, bias incident. Great. Okay. A passerby yells at a Muslim woman on the street. He says, go back to your country, and he pulls her hijab. Hate crime, good. Physical violence, right? Last one, an individual spray paints, eat pork or leave on a masjid. Hate crime. Why is it hate crime? Because graffiti counts as a hate crime even if there's no physical violence. Graffiti counts as a hate crime, especially if it's in a religious context. So if it's in the context of a mosque or a synagogue or a church, and the content is discriminatory or has some element of hate, it counts as a hate crime still. So why report? Now let's say you hear something. Why should you report it? Number one, hate crimes create fear and humiliation. So reporting allows you to take back control, and it gives other people confidence to report as well. So don't be afraid. If you hear about a hate crime or you hear about a discriminatory act, report it. Inshallah, I have some business cards and I'm happy to share with you afterwards. And you can always call me or call CAIR New York, and we'll be happy to file it with the city. Number two, reporting allows us to understand the scope of the hate crimes targeting our community. If you cannot report, we cannot advocate on your behalf. Currently at CAIR New York, we are drafting a report about hate crimes that our community is facing, and we want to present this report to the city council. Right? City council meaning the people who are representing us in the government, in local government. And if we cannot go to them and say that our community is experiencing these things if our community does not report them, right? So if we want funding, for example, for our organizations, for our masajid, we need to show them that they cannot ignore our concerns, right? So if you experience a bias incident, you can call CAIR New York, and if you experience a hate crime, or you witness a hate crime, or if you know somebody, because as we know, Muslim women are much more vulnerable, especially if they're wearing hijab, right? They're much more prone to being assaulted or attacked. If you know someone in your family, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your friend, your classmate, you can also call 311. If you don't have CAIR New York's number, you can call 311 and tell them that you have information about a hate crime, and make sure you specify a hate crime. Right? If it's a bias incident, you can still report it, but they're not as likely to respond. But you should still report it, and you should still call CAIR New York regardless. You can find our information on our website, but afterwards I'll be distributing some cards. So now that we know, everyone knows what the difference between hate crime and a bias incident, I want to make a very quick request for a survey that we're having. You don't have to take it right now, but I want you to save it on your phone. If you can, everyone just pull out your smartphones very quickly for 1 second. Just take out your phone, open up Safari, your web browsers, right? And just type this after me. www.bit.ly/CAIR NY survey, SURVEY. I'll say it one more time. www.bit.ly/CAIR NY survey. You don't have to take it right now, but inshallah when you get home after tonight, just save it. And the survey is completely confidential, it's completely anonymous. It is just to document any experiences you might have or someone you know might have had with hate crimes. Again, bit.ly/CAIR NY survey. Right? Just save it on your phones, and inshallah when you after tonight, not more than 3 minutes. Right? Okay, so next thing I want to move on to for the next 10-15 minutes is intervention. Right? So now you know the definitions. Right? But how do you intervene? How do you jump in if you see something taking place on the train, on the bus, or in school? So I'm going to teach you before, during, and after what you do. So the before. Remember to breathe. Take a deep breath. This is a very tense situation. Right? Number two, be aware. Look around you. Let's say you're on a train. Right? Where is the closest door on the train, just in case you need to exit, right? Are you underground or are you above ground, right? Are you in a tunnel right now? Are you going over a bridge? The best time to intervene, right? Of course, you can't choose, but the best time is right before the train doors open. Why? So just in case, if it gets violent, you and the person have a chance to exit, right? So number one, take a deep breath. Number two, be aware of your surroundings. And being aware of your surroundings brings me to the next point, is to position, right? So the acronym is BAP, B-A-P. Breathe, awareness, position. I'm sorry, I have slides, but we couldn't put them on the projector, so I'm just stating them to you. Inshallah, we'll be having these workshops again one more time at the center, inshallah, if Imam Abdul Ghani would permit. And we will have the slides for you, and I can share them with you and send them to you, to your email or to your text message so you can review them. So breathe, awareness, positioning. Who's sitting around you? Are there people sitting around you who can help? Right? Let's say you see a woman, she's someone who's maybe mentally ill or disturbed. They're harassing a woman in front of you on the train. Doesn't even have to be Muslim. It can be anybody. Right? How do you intervene? Right? The Quran teaches us, right, to enjoy the good and to forbid the evil. Right? Amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. Right? Enjoying the good and to forbid the evil. Right? And we have the hadith from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that if you see an evil taking place, right, to change it with your hands. If you cannot change it with your hands, then speak out against it with your tongue. If you cannot speak out against it with your tongue, at least think bad of it in your heart. And that is the lowest form of iman. Right? So this is the hadith that I like to think about when I see something taking place that I can intervene in. So number one, take a deep breath. Number two, be aware of your surroundings. Number three, position yourself. So what are the 5 Ds? There are 5 Ds I'm going to teach you tonight that you can use as techniques to help you when you witness hate crimes taking place. The first D is to direct. What do I mean by direct? I mean that you can, again, after you assess the situation, you can respond directly to the aggressor by naming what it is that you are observing. For example, let's say the person is making a woman feel uncomfortable, and you feel confident that you can intervene. You can go up to the person and say, look, she looks uncomfortable, can you please stop doing that? Right? Or if he's saying something racist, you can say, hey, this is racist, can you not say this? Another example, lately we've been witnessing a lot of hate crimes, particularly against Chinese and Asian Americans, right? Since the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people are blaming the Chinese community, right, unfairly and unjustly, and so there have been a lot of hate crimes against them. Right? One example that we heard of at CAIR New York, someone went up to somebody and said, hey, go back to China, you brought COVID here. Right? This is obviously a hate crime. This is obviously unjust. Right? One way you can de-escalate the situation is ask them, hey, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about? Chinese virus? What is a Chinese virus? Can you explain this to me? When you ask them to explain, they might be willing to talk. However, I do not recommend using this tactic unless you feel safe enough. There are other tactics and we're going to go over them. The second D is delegate. Delegate. What do I mean by delegate? When you delegate, you are giving responsibilities to other people. Right? You can scan your surroundings. Let's say you're with your friends. Maybe 3, like we have a small group here, 4 of you guys. All right? You're on the bus together. You have numbers. You can use your numbers. Right? So one of you can say, hey, look, she looks like she's being assaulted. Why don't we go together as a group, see what's going on. Right? Or you can say, hey, Brother Mustafa, can you turn on your camera? Turn on your video? Brother Ali, can you turn on your audio? I'm going to see if I can do something. So you have one brother who has a video, one brother who has an audio, and one brother who is intervening directly. Right? So you have now 2 different types of evidence in case something happens. Right? Number 3, if you're on a bus or if you're on the train, you can inform the bus driver. On the train, my recommendation, I always say this particularly to our sisters, and inshallah when I give this workshop with both brothers and sisters at the school, I will mention this, that when you get on a train, some people, they're too afraid to take the train, right? These days, my recommendation is take the train where the conductor is, right? There are 10 carts on every train. The conductor is usually in the middle. Get on that one, because that is usually the safest one, because the conductor can come out after you press the emergency brake. And this is something I recommend as well. Tell your sisters, tell your mothers, right, if they're getting on the train, to take the one that is with the conductor, because the conductor can respond immediately to a situation, right? So, okay, review. Direct, delegate. Number 3, distract. You can help the person by distracting from the situation. One way, and this is an example that actually has proven to work. One of my friends, he actually did this. Someone was saying some mean things on the train, and the friend went up to them, and he said, "Hey, can you give me directions to Coney Island?" Very loud voice. Very loud voice. "Can you give me directions to Coney Island?" And the person stopped, and he said, "Yeah, you have to take the Q train, and you got to go down to Brooklyn." And then my friend responds, "Brooklyn? I thought Coney Island is in Queens. What do you mean Brooklyn?" And the guy said, no, you got to take the train, go to Brooklyn, you got to get on the Q train, transfer on 42nd Street. You're distracting the person, right? You're giving that, you're shifting their attention. My friend was doing this on purpose. He said, no, Coney Island is in Queens, brother, stop lying to me. Tell me the truth. And the woman was able to escape from the situation because he was able to distract the individual, right? And there are different ways you can distract. Sometimes you can drop something, right? You can drop, your bag or a phone or something, right? You can get in front of them, right? Again, this is based on how you assess the situation, right? So direct, delegate, distract. The 4th D, and we've already mentioned this, is to document. Always document everything. This is the most important advice I can give you. You need to have a paper trail. You need to have receipts, right? One way you can do it, you can pretend you're checking your email, right? You see some suspicious activity. You can pull out your phone. You can pretend you're texting your friend, but you're actually recording something, right? You can also voice record yourself. Everyone has voice memo feature. You open voice memo, speak to yourself. I am on the Q train at 7:51 p.m. on 34th Street. I just witnessed such and such at this time take place. The perpetrator, he was wearing a blue jacket. Record yourself. Why? So you have a record. So when you're going to file the report with CAIR New York or with New York City Human Rights Commission, you can just listen to your recording. This is what I saw this time at this place. This is what they were wearing. This is what I witnessed. One other thing, a lot of times we see videos of hate crimes on Facebook and on Instagram, on Twitter and social media. My recommendation is do not post it unless you have the permission of the person who was assaulted or attacked or harassed. Because it's very sensitive, first of all, and it's a situation where their dignity, they're being violated. Right? Maybe they're going to work, they're going to school, they don't want a video of them being harassed on the internet, right? Thousands of people can see it. Go up to them afterwards, say, hey, I have it on video. If you would like, I can send the video to you and we can report it together to the city. We can call 311, we can call CAIR New York, we can call such and such, but make sure you have their permission first because you want to prioritize them. They were the ones who were being harassed, right? The last D is delay. In this situation, you check in with the person, right? Inquire about their needs, right? You can delay the situation, right? And see, for example, maybe they're really scared and they need you to take them to their stop, right? Or maybe it could be the opposite. They want you to leave them alone. I'm sorry, I just want to be left alone. Can you leave me alone? And that's okay too. You can say, okay, if you need, I'm here, right? Another way of communicating with someone who is being assaulted or harassed is nonverbal cues, right? You can glance at them. You can nod at them, right? You see someone, they look at you, maybe they're waiting for a response. You can say, put your hand on your chest, say, I see you, right? Or you can say, do you want me to come? Like you can point, right? So non-verbally, right? And if they say yes, come, you can go closer to them, right? So there are different non-verbal cues. One example I can give, another example, a woman, she's being harassed, right? A man is saying some rude words to her. Another woman or another person goes up to her and pretends that you're friends, right? So a woman is being harassed. A man is saying some very unkind words to her. Another woman, and this is especially for the sisters, can go up to her and say, hey, assalamu alaikum, how are you? I haven't seen you in such a long time. Do you want to come with me over here? And she will get it. Most likely she will understand that you're taking her away from the situation, right? And at that point, both of you can walk away and the guy will feel confused. He's not going to understand what's going on, right? So you can also do this. You can pretend you know the person. Hey man, it's been a long time, I haven't seen you. Do you want to come over on this side of the train? Do you want to come over on this side of the bus? Come, we can get some food. That person will feel confident, they will feel safe with you, and they will come with you, and they will join you. And then you can say, sorry about what you were experiencing, I just wanted to get you out of that situation. I hope you're feeling safe, and you can take it from there, inshallah. So very quickly, the next couple minutes, I have 3 scenarios. And I want to ask you what you would do in those scenarios if you witness it taking place, and inshallah we'll end there. Scenario 1, you're on a bus. A young Chinese girl gets on the bus, and another passenger shouts at her, why would you let her on the bus? You're going to give us COVID. And he starts to shout at her, starts spraying at her. How can somebody intervene in this situation? Using the 5 Ds. Let's say you have 3 or 4 people next to you. How can you intervene? One way you can intervene, if you feel safe, you can tell your friends, hey guys, let's go see what's going on. And 5 of you can go. Another way you can intervene, take this out, turn on your camera, start recording. Hey, you're being recorded. Have it on camera, right? Another way you can intervene, if you feel safe enough, you can go in front of the young girl and say, hey, do you want to come to this side? I can bring you over, right? You're walking home from work with a friend and you see an Orthodox Jewish sister and brother. They're wearing their Orthodox yarmulke. They're coming home from school. And a jogger goes up to them and the jogger says, you're not welcome in this neighborhood. Go back to where you came from. How do you intervene in that situation? The jogger is running. So if they're not running, you can again prioritize the children. Say, are you okay? Do you need help? Can I call somebody? See how they're doing, right? If the jogger stops, you can intervene in front of the jogger. If there's more of you, you can intervene and tell them that this was a hate crime. But most importantly, document where you are. What is the street intersection, right? Is it next to a bus stop, right? What is around you? How many witnesses? Pay attention to all of these things, right? Last scenario, let's say 2 Muslim women are wearing hijab and they're standing on the train and on the platform and a man walks up to them and starts harassing them. One guy's trying to pull her hijab. How can you intervene here? Again, you can do a number of things. If you feel safe enough, you can go directly and tell the person to stop, right? If there's more than one of you, 3, 4, 5 of you, right? You can tell one person, Brother Ali, can you go to the conductor? Brother Mustafa, can you call the police? Brother Muhammad and Brother Ibrahim are going to go intervene directly, right? So delegate different responsibilities, right? Different duties. Sometimes you have to think very quickly, right? So it's important to know how to intervene in all of these scenarios. Last key takeaway. Number 1, there's never going to be a single solution, right? Different solutions for different circumstance. Number 2, the most important thing is safety, right? So if you feel that intervention is going to make you less safe, it's going to put you in danger, then it's okay if you don't intervene. Inshallah, Allah knows your intention and Allah will reward you based on your intention. The most important thing is that you and the other person are kept safe. And it's important to believe in yourself, believe in your capacity to intervene, right? Because when someone sees you intervening, someone sees you standing up, they're going to feel more confident. They're going to join. I've seen this, wallahi, I've seen this with my own eyes on the train. One person speaks up, 5 people around her feel more confident. They say, okay, I'm going to speak up too, right? And I think that's it. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Thank you for listening to me. CAIR New York is always here for you. We are located on 4601 20th Avenue in Astoria. Currently we're working from home, but our offices are open. If you ever need, you can give us a call. Imam Abdulghani has my phone number. You can get my phone number from Imam Abdulghani. But we're here for you. And if you ever need any assistance or any help, inshallah, we'll be there for you to make sure that your needs and your concerns are met. So thank you, and I hope you have a great weekend, inshallah. If anyone has any questions, any comments, concerns, I'm here. I have some cards, some business cards, so if you would like, I can give you my business cards. But jazakumullah khairun, and wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. Thank you, brother. Jazakallah khairan. Probably, inshallah, we'll have bigger program, inshallah, more advertisement for that, and with the school, inshallah. Again, on behalf of the